Chapter 751, Only Wish You Won't Abandon Me. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Mu Lynx I operated the 8 Baron exercise to its limit. Her clasped hands were completely wrapped in divine chi. Prints formed continuously, dozens coming out of each finger. Whoosh! A huge gear formed behind her. The 8 half-saint beast spirits, the python, winged dragon, sky spider, silver wolf, tortoise, whale, snow tiger, and phoenix, appeared on the edges of the gear. The 8 beasts absorbed spiritual chi at the same time and poured it into Mu Lynx I's delicate body. Her aura grew stronger and stronger. Then a gust of frigid chi radiated from under Mu Lynx I's feet. It froze the entire scroll world, turning it into a world of ice and snow. Is the demonic saintess going to use the strongest attack of the 8 Baron print? The last of the 8 Baron print, the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print. The power of the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print is infinitely close to a saintly spell. Can she withstand the power of the attack with her cultivation? This demonic saintess abilities are honestly terrifying. If she really uses the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print, she can hurt a first-level half-saint. Lin Yue wouldn't be able to take it. Fighting against a first-level half-saint and injuring one were two completely different things. As Mu Lynx I's energy grew stronger, everyone held their breath. They stared unblinkingly at the scroll world. They wanted to know just how scary the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print was. The 6 in the air seats on the mountaintop were affected too. Even they weren't completely confident in withstanding the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print. After all, Mu Lynx I had only recently reached the 8th change of the Fish Dragon realm. What would happen if she reached the 9th change? Whoosh! Cold wind blew through the scroll world. It swept up a flurry of snowflakes that flooded towards Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen slid backwards. The cold wind actually forced him back around 200 feet. Saw 2. Zhang Yuochen gripped his golden snake divine rapier. Instantly, 3,000 beams of sword chi gathered with the sword as the center. They spun quickly, forming a huge chi print. 8 Baron Force, seal the sky. Mu Lynx I reached out a slender hand and slapped in Zhang Yuochen's direction. The Divine Baron Sky Sealing print was unleashed. The huge burst of saintly power crushed towards him. Zhang Yuochen disappeared from the spot. He transformed into light and rushed forward, stabbing at Mu Lynx I. He charged as if nothing could stop him, combining with the 3,000 beams of sword chi and chi print. Boom, boom. As soon as they hit the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print, the 3,000 beams of sword chi exploded one after another, turning into strands of smoke. Then the huge print collided with the golden snake divine rapier. There was a huge smack and the sword, a saint weapon, actually exploded. It broke into 7 sections and flew backward. 3 fragments hit Zhang Yuochen on the shoulder, chest, and thigh. They left 3 bloody marks. Though the sword was broken, the power that had burst from the sword's explosion helped Zhang Yuochen break apart the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print. By the time Zhang Yuochen had stopped, his finger was already between Mu Lynx I's eyebrows. His finger had a golden glint. A tiny chi print spun around his finger, radiating with sharp sword chi. If he moved an inch more, he could stab through Mu Lynx I's skull. However, Mu Lynx I had no look of fear on her face. She stood in place without moving as if she knew that Zhang Yuochen would rather injure himself than hurt her. I lost. Mu Lynx I batted her lashes as if she'd been freed. Zhang Yuochen retracted his finger and clutched his chest. He coughed and blood dribbled from his lips. The sword fragment had pierced his lung, causing serious internal injuries. The previous battle had happened in a flash and ended before many people could see what had happened. On the mountaintop, Zhu Hongjin chuckled. Seeing how Lin Yue protects the demonic saintess, there must be something between them. It seems that we're quite similar. Neither of us can bear to hurt beauties. But we're both men with many lovers. If there's a chance, I should chat with him. Lin Yue was able to defeat Mu Lynx I because he'd used his own power and the Divine Baron Sky Sealing print's power to shatter the golden snake divine rapier. The power of the explosion had pierced the print. However, the more powerful people could see that Lin Yue was more powerful than Mu Lynx I. With his tower of sword, there was a 70% chance that he could stab through the print. It was also possible to kill Mu Lynx I with that strike. In that case, He didn't have to break his sword and get hurt. Why didn't he then? The only explanation was that he didn't want to hurt or kill Mu Lingxi. He could only choose the worst option. Not only had he destroyed his saint weapon, but he'd also hurt himself. Zhu Yui chuckled. Ouyang Huan, you sent the little saintess against Lin Yui. Did you already know that they have some unspeakable relationship? Ouyang Huan was abnormally calm. Their relationship is their private matter, he said indifferently. What does it have to do with me? Grudges, love, jealousy, and hatred are part of human nature. I'm just an observer. Zhu Yui smiled and shook his head. He didn't speak any further. As the saying went, the experts focused on the techniques while outsiders just watched for fun. The people at the peak chatted calmly, while the monks at the foot of the mountain didn't know what had happened. They were in an uproar again. Lin Yui actually destroyed the demonic saintess Divine Baron Sky Ceiling Print. He's so powerful. But he's hurt and he lost a saint weapon. I'm afraid he can't keep fighting. Didn't you notice that Link had used the third realm of sword too? Yin and Yang split? What? The third realm of sword too? All the monks present who used swords were completely shocked. Many of the people in the fish dragon realm who called themselves sword geniuses could barely reach the first realm of sword 1. In the last millennium, only around 20 or 30 people in the fish dragon realm could cultivate sword 1 to the 10th realm completely. The majority of those people had all become sword saints and were worshipped by many swordsmen. Lin Yui was only in the 7th change and he'd already cultivated sword 2 to the 3rd realm. This was naturally shocking. Didn't this mean that he would have the chance to cultivate sword 2 fully while still in the fish dragon realm? If this youth doesn't die, he will definitely become another sword saint, an old saint said inside the city. He might even surpass sword saint Zainayu of the Yin and Yang sect. Monks of the Four Symbols sect, the 8 Trigram sect, and the Tichi sect were even more shocked. Regardless of whether they were younger monks or older half-saints and saints, everyone was shocked. A young man in a Tao robe stood beside Saint Xuanyi. He was tall and thin and had 2 dark moustaches above his lips. His eyes were sharp, making him look handsome. If Lin Yui is only at this level, he'll be dead if he goes against me. This man was Shaolin. He was the strongest member of the Four Symbols sect below the half-saint level. Shaolin had once been a sword genius from the Yin and Yang sect. He had been chosen with Chifu and Gai Tanjia and was sent to train in the sword pavilion. If one only considered their sword talent, then Shaolin was more excellent than Chifu and Gai Tanjiao. The Yin and Yang sect had placed great hopes in him too. They'd used all sorts of resources on him. They wanted him to represent the sect at the Sword Technique Conference. Unfortunately, Shaolin was from the Four Symbols sect. He'd entered the Yin and Yang sect just to use their resources and strengthen himself. He'd never thought of working for the Yin and Yang sect. Perhaps, in his eyes, the Yin and Yang sect were just a bunch of fools. After Shaolin improved greatly in his cultivation, he betrayed the Yin and Yang sect, returning to the Four Symbols sect. A few years had passed. Under the full effort of the Four Symbols sect, Shaolin's cultivation had reached an impossibly high level. He would represent the Four Symbols sect at the Sword Technique Conference and steal the Sword Pavilion. Shaolin's eyes contained cold arrogance. Lin Yui's Tower sword is quite good. Sadly, he was born a few years too late. Our sword twos are both in the 3rd realm. But there's still a big difference. I'm already before him. My sword 2 is only a step away from the 4th realm. In the end, Lin Yui is only in the 7th change, while I'm already at the pinnacle of the 9th change. There's a big gap in both cultivation and Tao of Sword. If I lose to him, I would have wasted all the years the sect has used to train me. Saint Xuanyi nodded. The effort the Four Symbols sect has put into you is unprecedented. The resources spent are enough to produce 10 half-saints. It's unjustifiable if you still lose. But even though Lin Yui has overflowing talent, he still isn't at your level. He shouldn't have the chance to win against you. Evidently, Saint Xuanyi was also confident in Shaolin. After the battle between Zhang Yuochen and Mu Lingxi, the scroll world under their feet was completely shattered. It transformed into smoke and melded into Scroll Mountain. The two of them reappeared on the steps of the mountain. Along with the heavily injured Ling Jinliu of Shahuang Yanshan walked towards Lin Yui. You seem to be hurt badly. she said. Will you continue fighting? Zhang Yuochen's face was pale, but he still smiled. Actually, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have involved you in the fight between the demonic sect and the yin and yang sect. However, I must continue climbing. After all, I owe the yin and yang sect for teaching me their ways. I must fight today. Pausing, he added, do you have the courage to continue climbing with me? Huang Yanchen stared hard at Zhang Yuochen. Her eyes were extremely troubled. There was doubt, friendship, and deep suspicion. Her left hand was behind her back. She gripped a fragment of the golden snake divine rapier so tightly that it cut her hand. Blood dripped down. She had the Xuan Wu source and had cultivated the sacred book of Xuan Wu. Even though the golden snake divine rapier had been reforged, changing its aura and shape, there was still a shred of Xuan Wu aura that she'd noticed. If you go, I will follow, no matter how dangerous it is, she said. I just wish you won't abandon me. Tears filled Huang Yanchen's eyes, but she worked hard to control herself. She couldn't let her emotions spill out. She couldn't let the outsiders see